What's up, everybody? I apologize if I sound a little bit funny. I'm not feeling well, but I wanted to make a quick video for you guys talking a little bit about how recently I've lost so much weight. Some of you might know this, but as like a child, I was really overweight, and as a younger teenager, God helped me to lose a bunch of weight, probably close to 100 pounds. What you might not know is kind of mid-college, stress of college, stress of work, stuff like that, priorities all mixed up. I ended up gaining a lot of weight back, and it was a lot more persistent, it felt like, than the first time around, a lot harder to lose. But thankfully, God has helped me to lose a lot of that weight once again. In some different ways. So, some different types of things have popped up in my life. These might not work exactly perfectly for you, and they might not be a perfect fit. I think a big reason why they worked for me is because I was able to incorporate them as like lifestyle changes and stick to them. And I'll give you an overview of what I did in this video, and I might go into more detail maybe in a different video. Before I do that, though, I want to talk about the mentality a little bit. Some of you might think like it's not that important to take care of your physical health, maybe taking care of your heart health, like your like how caring you are, your kindness, and like growing in those ways is more important, which I would agree is more important. With that being said, exercise and taking care of yourself and stuff, it can be a huge like mood booster, and really don't underestimate how much that will help you to have energy and do everything else and grow in other ways in your life. All the better, just like mentally, your heart, your mood, your friendships, your relationships. I think all of those benefit when you take care of yourself. The mentality you probably don't want to have is like, I want to look good and I want to show off. It's okay to want to take care of what you've been blessed with and take care of your body. I think that that's a great thing. Don't just do it for show-offy purposes, though. There's a lot of pitfalls I think you'll run into down the road if that's your driving force. So, with that being said, let's dive right into it. And the first thing I want to talk about is some dietary changes that I have made in my life. So, this is kind of a buzzword now. I believe I was doing it before it got really popular. Um, I found some research on intermittent fasting, and I found that it works really well for me. And for those of you who don't know what that is, um, it's where for a gap of time you eat in a smaller window. So basically, you might skip breakfast and then eat from noon to 8 p.m. or something, or a smaller window. And basically, I started doing that and gradually made my eating window smaller and smaller and smaller over time when I was trying to cut and lose weight. And that really helped me, for one, to like maintain how many calories I was eating in a day. I still ate plenty. Don't think I was starving myself or anything like that. I wasn't. And I tried to generally eat healthier, but sometimes, I did eat like, good splurge food or whatever. That happened, semi regularly on weekends or whatever. If there was pizza, I'd be eating pizza. I didn't pick out on it every night or anything like that, but that was one benefit to eating that way, is that when that does happen, it doesn't totally set you back super far. You can recover, keep eating healthy, keep going. So, intermittent fasting is something I would recommend trying. For some people, there's a risk associated with it, maybe, or like I think for most people, it's probably perfectly safe. But there might be some people, if you have certain hormonal things or whatnot, you know, eat how you need to eat to take care of yourself. But that's something that worked really well for me. And fasting isn't, like a bad thing. Some people think like when I tell them what the way that I eat that I'm starving myself or something. Not at all. It's perfectly healthy. There's a lot of benefits. I don't want to talk about them all here, but you can look for other videos that will explain them. The other thing was exercise. What works for me really well is weightlifting. It's what makes me feel good. It's what I enjoy. Um, I have been weightlifting I mean, I've weightlifted a lot in my life, but consistently for like about a year now, a little over a year. Um, the method that I use without going into it too much, or had used up to this point, I recently made a switch up to this. But I had been doing like I guess you would call it a bro split, where you work like a different body part set each workout, and I'd kind of rotate that. Usually go 3 times a week. Sometimes might not get every body part in every week, and then I would just start, like if I didn't get to legs, start the next week. If you want to know more about that, I can talk more about that in another video. So those are the two huge staples. Two other things I want to talk about here, though, are one piece of equipment that I used that was really helpful, and then like a mentality thing. So the piece of equipment that I use, I'm not big on like a pedometer or like a Fitbit wristwatch or anything like that. I have nothing against them. It's just not totally my thing. But one Fitbit product that has been really helpful has been the Fitbit, I believe it's called Aria Scale. And the reason this is scale, you might be able to find a cheaper option that does the same thing, but it sends your weight to your phone in the Fitbit app, and you can track trends over time. So the reason I like this is because a lot of people will get discouraged because they're not losing weight super quickly. Um, I lost weight very slowly. However, looking at the trend over the course, like, oh, in the last 3 months, I can see like my weight trend is going down like this. Whereas the day to day, it might be going like this. You know, you gain 5 pounds, you lose 5 pounds. You gain 5 pounds, you lose 3 pounds, and like that. And you're like, oh, I'm not losing. Like I keep going back and forth and get discouraged. But if you stick with it, um, I like to just pull up those charts and see, am I headed in the right direction? And you can sort of see like, oh, okay, I might have only lost a quarter pound this week, but I'm still making progress, and that's okay. Whatever pace. The main goal here is to be healthy, or any, not to like, it's not a race. So that was one thing that really helped me, encouraged me, the way that I think and like to look at statistics and whatnot. I really enjoyed that. So something like that could be really good, so that you don't get hung up on the scale. The scale's only like one variable anyways, like the number that it gives you. There's a lot of other things to keep in mind too if you're like gaining muscle and whatnot. And then along with that scale is the mentality. So I had to ditch this mentality that I had to lose it all at once. I think the hardest part about like losing weight is getting started on making those lifestyle changes. There's this like, for whatever reason, I had this like wall. It's like I knew how far I had fallen and how much more like physically incapable I was after gaining all that weight, and there's something like really humiliating about like, I can't do what I used to do, and I don't want to exercise, and it keeps you out of the gym. I started by doing some like body weight exercises at home, and then got more comfortable and started going to the gym, and then started really making progress. So it's that mentality of just like start making these lifestyle changes little by little, and they kind of snowball. You get used to one thing, it's just the way that you live now. You're taking care of yourself. God's helping you. You're praying about it and all this stuff, and then like these choices, you start making bigger changes and bigger changes and bigger changes that you can continue to maintain as you go, so that you're not just like backsliding and trying all this stuff. Don't go to the all salad and broccoli diet and go to the gym 6 days a week to start. I don't think so. You'll burn out and be like, I can't do this. I don't know how people do this. Um, Keep other things in check. If you only make it twice a week to the gym or exercise, like that's still progress. Keep going. Have that mentality of a little progress at a time. I'm losing a little bit. I lost, a tenth of a pound this week. That's still progress. Keep going. And then when you look back a year later, that's that moment where you'll be able to be like, wow, like God has helped me to lose, 30 pounds, 50 pounds, whatever it may be. So that's the basic overview this time around of how I've been able to like lose more weight and maintain that, which has helped a lot with like anxiety, depression, all that stuff. Mentally, like I'm more on point. I'm able to do more better mood, everything. So that's what I recommend starting with. If you want more details on any of the like specific things in this, for example, if you like want a really detailed breakdown of like how intermittent fasting worked for me, or if you want like a breakdown of like gym routines, I can go into that in more detail if you would like it. Otherwise, I'll keep it simple here because to be honest, like everybody's going to be different in this fitness road. Like we all have different bodies and stuff like that, and certain things may or like fasting may not work for you at all, but something else might work like amazingly well. That's why you can't, there's no like one size fits all, I don't think. um, but anyway, that's how I did it. Hope that this helps some of you. Love you guys and hope to see you in the next video.